Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one, I've put together a team that has Salah, Haaland and Palmer in it. It's also got 1.5 million in the bank for some upgrades if you want. So let's get straight into it. Now, you won't be too surprised to see that the goalkeepers are pretty cheap. Now, we've got Dubravka on the bench, who looks to be the best 4 million option at the moment. He has made the move from Newcastle to Burnley. Burnley have obviously sold Trafford to Man City, so they were in need of a first choice goalkeeper. Dubravka looks like he'll be that guy. We will have to wait and see whether he does actually play minutes in pre-season, because they may have bought him to be, I don't know, a second choice option. Quite unlikely. He should be the first choice. Then Kelleher I've got as a 4.5 million option. He could be any of the 4.5 million options. He could be Verbruggen, he could be Salah, he could be a host of 4.5 million options. There aren't that many though. So Kelleher probably is the best one. Brentford did concede a lot of shots from outside the box last season, the most in the league in fact, meaning that there should be a lot of easy save points up for grabs here. So I think that Kelleher is probably the best. I mean, like I say, there's money in the bank, so you could actually improve this position if you wanted to anyway, but you may want to improve it elsewhere. We'll talk about that more at the end. Now, you'll notice that the defence is also pretty cheap. So last on the bench, we've got Esteve, who's a 4 million option, but he's actually a pretty good 4 million option. Now that we've got defensive contribution points in play in FPL, these defenders from lesser teams have other routes to points. It was previously clean sheets and goals, which obviously the centre-backs from the promoted teams were never going to be great for. However, defensive contribution points they should be good for. So that's the likes of blocks, tackles, interceptions, clearances, which they'll have to do a lot of. Obviously, they'll be defending quite a lot in games, so you'd expect these players to do quite a lot of those actions. And Esteve actually got the most clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles from Burnley last season out of all their players. So he is actually a very good pick at 4 million. We shouldn't even have to play him most weeks. We may want to play him in game week 2 because they play Sunderland, but yeah, we shouldn't need to use him most weeks. Now, as you can see here, we have 3 4.5 million options. We've got Konza, who, again, these 4.5 million options could be anyone really. They're just price points more than anything. But Konza is very, very safe. He will play every game he's available for. He won't get loads of goals or clean sheets. He may get some defensive contribution points, but he's not kind of high up the list in the league for that. But he will get minutes, so he is a very, very safe option. Wan-Bissaka's a nice one. He's got plenty of routes to points. We know he's good at defending 1v1 and things like that, so he should be kind of quite good for these tackles and defensive contribution points. He's also pretty attacking. Of all the defenders that are 4.5 million this year, he got the most assists last season with 6, so he's got plenty of routes to points. I do expect West Ham to be a bit better defensively this season as well, so he looks good. Udogie, now he hasn't got any pre-season minutes yet, so he could be a bit of an issue. If he doesn't get any pre-season minutes, then obviously you can't start with him, but you can start with Van de Ven, who is from the same team, just less attacking. Although last season Udogie's attacking numbers were actually pretty poor. He is just a very attacking defender in general though. There's other players you can go for, like Gehi from Palace, or De Kuyper from Brighton, or Anderson from Fulham. There's a load of different options. This is more just a structure thing. So it's 3 4.5 million defenders, and then it's Williams from Forest. He looks pretty good value at 5 million. The Forest defence is on, well, I mean, they were joint second for clean sheets last season with 13. Now, they did overperform their expected goals conceded by a distance, to be honest. So whether they can keep it up or not, who knows. He is pretty attacking though, which is obviously something we want from our defenders. He should be pretty nailed now that he's got that spot. And the most important thing is that Forest's fixtures to start the season are really, really nice. So again, I could have gone with another 4.5 million defender here, but the budget kind of allowed for this, so I did like picking one Forest defender in here just because of their fixtures. Okay, midfielders now. So this team obviously has Salah, it obviously has Palmer. I've then gone with 3 5.5 million midfielders. Now, Elliot Anderson is one that's been in a load of drafts that I've put together. All of the videos that I've done about drafts, bar one maybe, he's been in. he's just a really, really good option. Now, he played 37 of the 38 games last year. He is one of the best midfielders for defensive contribution points, or it was last season anyway. He averaged a silly amount of defensive contributions per game. So I think he should be in everyone's team, to be honest. He's just very, very good. The fixtures are really good to start as well. And it wasn't the case, I did a bit of a delve into the numbers, that it wasn't the case where Anderson was only picking up these defensive contribution points against the better teams. It was actually the other way round, surprisingly. He was better for defensive contributions when he was playing the lesser teams. Not sure why that is, but it's brilliant for us as FPL managers. So I just think he's a really, really good option. Then there's two slightly more risky options here. Now, Reinders is one that I really like. They've signed him for quite a lot, Man City. Don't get me wrong, his minutes are far from secure. I mean, we know that with most City players that aren't called Haaland or maybe Guardiola. His minutes are, far from secure, but they signed him for a good amount of money. He also scored 10 goals and got 4 assists last season. If he starts most games, not even necessarily every game, if he starts most games in like a 8 role with Rodri behind him and Reinders as more of a box-to-box guy, then he could be silly value at 5.5 million. Now, obviously there are other players that can play in these positions, the likes of Shirky, the likes of Gundogan, the likes of Bernardo Silva. However, Gundogan looks like he may now be leaving Man City. If he leaves, then Reinders becomes a very, very good option, because then there is a lot less competition for him there. Also, Nico could play there, although he was playing as more of a 6 last season. I'm not sure whether that was because there was no one else, because Rodri was out injured, but regardless, Reinders could be a really, really nice budget pick. And then on the other side, we've got Marlon. He is one that, again, is risky. He didn't get many minutes last season, but Rashford and Asensio are now gone. He's had a fantastic start to pre-season. He's got, I think it's 3 assists and 2 goals in 3 games or 4 games or something. It is a very, very hot start to pre-season. However, there are other options at Villa at the moment. So Watkins is likely to play up top, of course. Marlon could get minutes there, but that doesn't seem too likely. They've obviously got Leon Bailey on the right. They've got Jacob Ramsey on the left. They've got Morgan Rogers, of course. There are just other options for the positions that he's playing. I think in pre-season he's been playing on the wing. They've also just bought, I don't know how you pronounce the guy's name, but Gesserand, maybe. Now, he is typically a striker, but he also has played quite a lot on the right wing. So there's another player that could take minutes off Marlon. He is a risky one, of course, but again, we've got 1.5 million in the bank. So if that is the spot you wanted to upgrade, then you could do that quite easily. You could spend 1 million of that going up to Matoma, up to Ndai, or even a little bit more than that. You could spend 1.5 and go up to Semenyo. If Rodgers is fit, although he did look like he got injured the other day, if he's fit, then you could go up to Rodgers at 7 million. So there's plenty of options here. I just thought I'd make kind of a budget picks there, and then you can use the money however you wanted to. But anyway, let's get onto the forwards. Then the forward line is obviously Haaland, and then I've gone for Chris Wood. Again, I've mentioned it before. The fixtures for Nottingham Forest to start the season are really, really good. On the fixture ticker on Fantasy Football Hub, they are top for it. I think Aston Villa are second, but Nottingham Forest are top. So they play 2 promoted teams within their first 6 game weeks. Chris Wood should get good minutes, although that's not guaranteed this season, but you'd think he will. Should be on penalties. There's not much to not like about Chris Wood, so I think that he's a very good option. Then I've gone for a cheap option in Mark Gay on the bench. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he has now moved to Sunderland, of course. We don't know yet whether he's going to be a starter and get good minutes, but he's just a bench option at this point. Konza and Esteve should both play, and if you go safer with your midfielders instead of Reinders and Marlon, then you shouldn't need your bench anyway. That's another reason you could spend the 1.5 million on Reinders or Marlon. Another place you could spend this 1.5 million though is moving Mark Gay up to Igor Thiago from Brentford. Now, he was bought last season by them. He got injured as soon as he arrived. He hasn't played much football. Wissa is now leaving and Buemo's left. It looks like Igor Thiago is going to be the starting striker. He could and should be on penalties as well, and he's 6 million. So that is where you could use your money, and then you could rotate these players around so you don't have to play Reinders and Marlon every single week. There is obviously safer 5.5 million midfielder options as well. You could go for some of these guys that are better for defensive contribution points instead of the more attacking guys in Reinders and Marlon. There's a whole host of things you could do with this 1.5 million, but I just wanted to put this team together to show you that it is possible to have a Haaland, Palmer and Salah team that actually is pretty sensible. Now, I won't be doing it myself. I think that the sacrifices are a little bit too much. I'd rather have a more balanced team. I'd rather have the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Watkins, Wirtz, not all of them probably, and some more money in defence like Van Dijk. I'm a big fan of his. I probably want him in my team. You can't get all these guys in if you have all three of them. And because of the amount of chips and transfers we've got this season, we can kind of hop on and off these premiums relatively easily. Certainly more easy than last season and seasons before. So I don't think we need to go with all three of them. I won't be, but I did want to put this together to show you that it is possible to have a good team with all three of them. Now, if you like the video, do hit like, do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.